Yesterday, we had quite a lot of action up and down the order. Let's see if we can get some more of that today. Welcome along to Breakout Racing League's Tier 3 Championship, and we are here for Round 12, the halfway point of the season. And where else to start it off than at Spa-Francorchamps, the Belgian Grand Prix. You've got 19 corners that make up the longest track on the calendar and 2 DRS zones. We'll see how the drivers can use that to their advantage. We've got, I would assume, an easy one stop in this race, but safety cars could also play a big factor. We'll have to see if that will play into anyone's hands. My name is Minico, and alongside me is Quick-Tongue. Now, Quick-Tongue, I know that you saw Realistic yesterday, and it was definitely a very chaotic but also entertaining race. Are you expecting more of the same? We'll see if we possibly get those 2 safety cars or more or less. We will just have to find out, but we have to get through onto qualifying. But you said before that obviously these drivers are very competitive, and that is relative in the championship standings, as the top 2 are separated by just 2 points, with the Red Bull of BRL Ardell leading it ahead of the Ferrari of Ron Swanson. Then in third place, you've got Gary in the Mercedes. So Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes. That's like back in 2017 and 2018. But, however, this is 2021, and it's equal cars, so it's not entirely the same. But back in P4, we have the Aston Martin of El Taco Man, who's had a little bit of a fall off couple of races. But we'll see if we can get back up to speed, and then Catcher rounds off the top 5. And, well, oh, that's not what he wanted, so hopefully he didn't get damaged and he can just continue on. Meanwhile, the first person to set a lap time is going to be the Williams of Bad Bunny, who actually debuts this race. He technically joined the tier 2 weeks ago, but he was not able to make the first race. But he is here now making his debut. We'll see what he can do in the Belgian Grand Prix. The next is going to be the Red Bull of Ardell championship leader. We'll see how these drivers can do it. And Bad Bunny is actually spun at Radeon and gave himself front wing damage, so not the start he would have wanted. He'll be able to continue on though for the time being, and will most likely go back into the pits. So the first one is going to be the Red Bull of Ardell to set provisional pole. And as of right now, he only has 1 pole position to his name. He's going to want to make that 2, but he has a lot of contenders in order to take that, especially the Mercedes of Gary, in which Gary has the most pole positions of this tier. Can he possibly continue that form? Actually going to be the Red Bull of Ardell, but he actually backs off, interestingly. That was a weird moment in the third sector, but he backs off on his time, but he'll no doubt go again. So the first official lap time, I believe, is going to be the Mercedes of Gooslayer, in which he debuted last week in the Mercedes, and while he gave himself a very respectable P2, he'll no doubt want to get another podium, or even better, a win, but he goes a little bit too deep in the bus stop chicane. But let's see, what is the lap time everyone has to beat? It is the 43.3 as of right now. Decent lap time. Meanwhile, Mr. Titan has retired over at turn 14 and 15, and that turn 13 and 14. So probably looped it on the exit, and that is not the start he would have wanted to this qualifying, and will no doubt start last if everyone gets a lap time. Yep, and obviously they are on the same compound of tires, so Potato is going to want to improve that if he wants a shot of pole position. And as of right now, quite a few people on the medium compounded tire, in which GXR Rage is on the mediums, and he went up to P5. But Ron Swanson goes up to P2 in the Ferrari, and then Whiffy, his teammate, just beats him out. So Ferrari second and third already. They're showing pace. The yellow flag in Sector 2 at Pouon, but I believe that is just the Mercedes of Gooseslayer going slow. Yes, it is, as he's run out of fuel. So he's just limping his way back to the pits. Stay goes up to P3 in the AlphaTauri, a decent position for him, splitting the two Ferraris for now. And we'll see if he can improve on that lap time. Currently, 6/10 off, so Gooseslayer putting in a very respectable lap time at the start of qualifying. Could be. We shall see how that plays out. Mitchie actually invalidated. I said that. Actually, no, he's on an out lap. I thought he was on the lap for a second, but it was actually the Red Bull of Ardell, who actually went up to P2. And look at that gap. 19 thousandths between Gooseslayer and Ardell. That is very close. Wow. Next person to cross the line, I believe, is going to be a Williams. Is that going to be Potato? He actually goes into the pit, so scratch that. So next person is going to be, I think, Kieran Evans on the medium compounded tire. Yes, it is. Where does he go up to? He goes up to P7 ahead of his teammate, but 1.7 off a pole. Looking down, I think the next person is going to be an Aston Martin. Is that of El Taco Man? Yes, it is. In the Aston Martin going through the third sector, Kieran Evans has retired up Radion. So he is crashed out of qualifying, and that is going to be the end for him. He's got to wait a long while. But Taco going through the bus stop chicane. He keeps it easy. Where does he go up to? He goes up to pole position with a 43.2, so he beats Gooseslayer's time. Very good from the Aston Martin. I'm being informed that I can't hear your audio, so you might have to include that. Yeah. If not, then I might have to restart the stream, but yeah. Okay.
I'm probably there now.
I shall check that in just a second. Oh, and Taco's just spun at turn 4, and that's not gone well, but he's continued. And I can confirm, yes, that your audio is now included, so we're good there.
Taco Man has no damage from his spin, so he can continue.
Yep, he'll no doubt have to just limp back over to the pits and possibly try and beat that lap, possibly get into the 42s. But there's an Alfa Romeo right behind him, and that was of Hey Katra, who's going through No Name and now going through Pouon. Katra, I've seen this before. Katra's not the best at qualifying, but she has had some very respectable places in qualifying. We'll see if she can possibly get herself up there, maybe even get pole position. We shall see as she goes through the second sector split. It's not a purple sector 2 just yet, but luckily the rest of the lap fairly easy for her, as well it's flat for the whole way except for the bus stop chicane. Going through Blanchimont keeps it very easy, making sure not to go over track limits. Yellow flag in sector 2, that might be for drivers getting out of the way. Katra now goes through the bus stop, comes now gonna open the DRS, gets really squirrely on the exit though, does not want to hit the wall.
Yeah, right in the middle of the track.
And it was good enough for P4.
Gary coming in behind her. Oh, is that going to ruin his time?
Ooh, that got close.
Oh.
Very close between the two, but luckily Gary was just able to avoid the Alfa Romeo and will start his flying lap And well, let's see if he can get his 4th pole position, not in a row, but his 4th pole position of the season and start almost the second. Well, it's not entirely the second half of the season. It's the end of the first half. So he's going to want to start it on a high.
Catra may be a little nasty coming out of that last corner, but moved her up to 4th on the list.
Yeah, so maybe they could have had a chance of a very good position had that not have happened. Mitchie has unfortunately retired from the session on the exit of turn 16. And that is Mitchie's qualifying over and done, as he's not set a lap time. And that's not what the Australian wanted. Or Australian? I think. I'm not 100% sure.
I'm not either. I don't understand why Gary didn't get a lap time in when he came in behind Catra, because that was his qualifying lap. Now he's already had 1 lap on the tires, so wasn't an out lap.
I'm not. Could have been invalidation.
Could have been. Yeah, I didn't see that.
Yeah, but he's kept it valid this time around, going through the 3rd sector. Gooselayer goes up the pole and with a 42.7. So he broke into the 42s. Gary goes wide and unfortunately invalidates his lap time. Yeah. So he's going to have to go back into the pits. Oh, nearly loops it though, going into the pits. So that is not what he would have wanted. But he keeps out of the wall. So far, 10 drivers have set a lap time in which Gary, Yeet Doggo, Bad Bunny, SFR Piastri, and Ishigo have to set a lap time, or else they will start in the bottom 6. Or no, sorry, bottom 7.
Ichigo is on the start of his lap.
Yes, he is. He has just gone through La Source. GXR Rage retires from the session, and he actually crashed up Radion. So Radion already proving tricky for a lot of these drivers. Ron improves up to P4, by the way, and the Ferrari gets ahead of Catra and only 1,000th behind his championship rival. Those two are already close. Ishigo going on a lap with him, going through. I believe that is turn 8. Yes, it is.
The reverse.
And then going through turn 9, making sure he doesn't go a little bit too wide, in which he doesn't. And now he's going to go through the fastest corner of the track. Puon. Is he able to keep it valid? Yes, he does. He actually keeps it very cautious on track limits. And now going through turn 12 and 13. This has also proven to be tricky. Remember, Titan crashed out there as well. Yellow flag in Sector 3, but that might be for the Mercedes going slow, as he might be out of fuel. So Ishigo's going to have to be careful. Doesn't set a purple Sector 2, though, so there's nobody wanted. But he invalidated. That's a weird place to invalidate, actually.
I don't know what that building is. I always call it the pump house.
Good to know. I did not know that.
Just what I call it. I don't know what anybody else calls it.
Next person across the line will be Ardell, but he's actually going to go into the pits. So the next person is going to be the Aston Martin of SFR Piastri, who hasn't set a lap time yet. So he's going to want to make this lap count. He goes through the bus stop to chicane on the medium compounded tire, I want to note. So he's going to set a lap on the mediums. We'll see what he can do. Right now, the highest medium runner to beat is going to be Kieran Evans, currently sitting in P9 with a 44.0. So he's going to want to break into the 43s if he's going to want to beat that lap time. Going through over to the 3rd sector, basically, and I think the next person across the line, well, was going to be Gary. Actually, no, it is going to be Gary. He's on the mediums. So Gary is going to... He might throw away his pole position by doing this. Huh. So, very interesting strategies already. Needless to say. Gary's now going to start his final flying lap, I would presume. And well, hopefully he can get a lap time in this time around. Currently in P12, that's not where he wants to be in this race, as I think, well, I would say track position is key. but considering the straights, I wouldn't entirely say that.
Piastri just came through the second sector purple, so we'll see
Ooh.
on these mediums.
And at the same time, Gary actually went purple in Sector 1, so obviously the straight line speed of that Mercedes working out well for him. Hopefully he can keep it valid this time around as Piastri is coming around the final couple of corners, goes a bit deep, though, into the bus stop chicane, compromises line. Gets a little bit squirrely, though, but manages to keep it easy. What lap times is he set? 45.7. Not the best of lap times for him. Let's see if he can possibly get another lap time in. Hopefully he has the fuel to do so. Next person to cross the line is going to be the Mercedes of Gary, who's just coming around to the second sector. Now third sector. Doesn't set a purple sector 2 though, so unlike Piastri, he is not able to convert in the second sector, but going off of the first sector, he had a purple sector 1 there. Can he possibly go again as he's going through Blanchimont now? Doesn't invalidate through there. Now he's going to have to get the bus stop chicane very precise, and he does exactly that. Let's see, what lap time does he set on the medium compounded tire? It's a 44.2 for the Mercedes. That's 9/10 ahead of the next medium runner of Kieran. Wow.
That's just showing you how fast that Mercedes Goose really got underneath him. He's on a great qualifying lap. Proud to say he took over my seat. Uh-oh. There you go. Gary just spun out. So one good lap and then qualifying over for him.
Yeah, I think the final lap times are starting to come in now as Bad Bunny is going to cross the line to start his final flying lap in the Williams. So he's going to be the first one to set an official lap time unless the... Actually, no, it's going to be the Alfa Romeo of Ishigo. My apologies. As he goes through the first sector, purple sector 1 for the Alfa Romeo. It's looking good so far, but he's going to have to keep it valid. He wasn't able to last time. Let's see if he can this time around. As I don't think he has a pole position, actually, by the looks of it, if I go through. No, he doesn't. So he doesn't have a pole position yet. He's going to want to take pole here, as he's already showing some great pace. As whether the championship is with him, I wouldn't 100% say that. But he's going to try his best no matter what. Going through the second sector now, turns 12, 13. Keeps it easy, doesn't spin off like Giovinazzi did in 2020. Purple sector 2. It's looking like a good lap for the Alfa Romeo now. Yellow flag in sector 3 once again. That is the Mercedes. I think that might be the Mercedes of Gary out of fuel. So Ishigo has to be aware of that. He doesn't want to crash into the Mercedes, but the Mercedes actually gets out of the way. So well done from Gary to get out of the way there. Qualifying is now done, so this is the last chance for everyone to get their lap times in. Ishigo, he's going to come across the line. What time does he set? A 43.0, puts him up to P2. Very good lap time from the Alfa Romeo, but just wasn't enough to beat Goose Slayer. So Goose Slayer very much setting the pace. Next person across the line is going to be the Williams of Bad Bunny coming through the final chicane. Open the DRS. What time does he set? A 43.6. That puts him up to P7. Next up is going to be the Ferrari of Whiffy. Whiffy wasn't able to improve on his position and will start P8 unless somebody behind improves.
Goose Slayer
well, Gary definitely improves. Sorry, no, Goose Slayer. My apologies, not Gary. The other Mercedes. Goose Slayer very much setting the pace. But next person across the line, is that going to be Taco? Yes, it is. Doesn't improve on his lap time. So he will start P3 unless Potato can do something about it. No, he can't. He pulls into the pits. What about Ardell, though? Currently sitting in P4. Has he done enough? Puts himself up to P2. Very good lap time. State goes up to P5 in the AlphaTauri. Catcher comes across the line. Wasn't able to improve. What about Ron Swanson, though? Ron wasn't able to improve either. Next person to cross the line is going to be Yeet Doggo, but Yeet Doggo's actually invalidated. So that's qualifying done. Goose Slayer on pole position. I think that's actually his first pole as well.
It's only his second race.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
And at that kind
Goose
of a
Slayer
time,
had the
he
pace
belongs
last
to be in
week.
T2.
I'm not sure if we would go that far, but nonetheless, it is a very, very good lap time
Yes.
from Goose Slayer. Last week, it was one Mercedes on pole position, and this week, it's another Mercedes, this time of Goose Slayer. As well, Mercedes, I guess you could say, go back to back for pole positions. And, well, the margin was way larger. 4/10. Ardell sits in P2 ahead of DXD Ishigo. So Ishigo once again showing his pace ahead of El Tacoman sitting in P4. Stig rounding off the top 5. Like I said, though, track position, I'm not sure if that's the key. There you have it, though. Qualifying is officially over. Goose Slayer on pole position ahead of Ardell, Ishigo, and El Tacoman on the second row. Stig ahead of Ron Swanson. That's Hey Catcher in P7 ahead of Bad Bunny on his debut. Qualifies P8. That's Whiffy in P9 ahead of Potato, just rounding off the top 10. Then it's Gary in P11 ahead of Kieran Evans. There's GXR Rage in P13 ahead of Piastri. Mitchie, Yeet Doggo, and Titan, unfortunately not able to set a lap time. It will start P15, 16, and 17. And if you excuse me for a minute, I just have to quickly do something.
Some of the guys must have went offline because some of them are coming back online. Gary and Tig. I don't know if that's a glitch or what.
I'm not sure if I received it from not my end, but hopefully they are back in the session and are ready to go racing. And right now, it's looking a bit cloudy.
Yeah, no, we never did get the weather report, so let's see if it's an interesting dry to wet, wet to dry, wet all the way.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say wet all the way. I mean, it looks dry at the starting grid. So I think right now at the start of the race, it's definitely going to be dry. But who knows? It could possibly get worse throughout the session. We shall see. 22 laps ahead of us, and 22 long laps, as it's the longest track on the calendar, beating out Saudi Arabia. The Saudi Arabia we will come to in, well, a long way, I would say. I think it's like the 22nd round, so yeah. Still got plenty of ways to go, but nonetheless, we're not going there just yet, and we are here at the longest circuit, which is Spa, and Goose Slayer showing the pace. Can he convert? And, well, the question I want to ask, what's your prediction for the pole? Not pole, for the podium, and, well, who could really be a shocker out of this race, a pleasant surprise?
I think Goose Slayer's got the capability. He showed in the last race, even though he had spun on his own at Hungary, he came back through the crowd, all 5 of them, and was just right on the verge of winning it, and it was just a matter of penalty points on Ardell that kept him from doing it. Of course, that's such a one-track course, you know, it's follow the leader there. Here it's a little more open, lots of passing places with these DRS zones.
There definitely is, and also on the first lap in general, because if you remember back to 2018, Sebastian Vettel, Lewis Hamilton, Sergio Perez, and Esteban Ocon went nearly 4 wide on the straight on the first lap, so things could definitely get very chaotic. Not only there, but also on the first corner as well, as if you remember at the first lap in 2018 as well, Fernando Alonso went over the top of Charles Leclerc in the Sauber. And, well, that made those two easily retire out of the race. Hopefully we don't get any of that, though, but it was a very, very scary incident.
Well, hopefully the guys who are at the back from 10 on back who look like they're all going to be on mediums, you know, show a little discretion going into La Source at the first corner because, you know, your traction isn't there yet.
Well, you say that, yet they're looking over at the tires. only 2 people went onto the medium compound tire, and that is Gary, who's in P11, and Piastri in P14. So everyone going on the sauce for the start of this race. Maybe they think that the overcast is not going to provide enough grip for the mediums. We'll see how that pans out. But now we're at the 3rd sector, and obviously, Goose Slayer on pole position, and we'll basically round everyone up to the grid as we get to the start of the Belgian Grand Prix. We didn't get this in real life. And well, like Catrell said yesterday, in realistic, we'll get it this time. Oh, GXR Rage and Piastri have been disqualified from the session off the formation lap. But luckily, it was just the end of the formation lap, so the tires won't be all that cold. Last person to line up on their grid slot is going to be Titan in the McLaren. We'll see what he can do starting from P17 as we get ready for 5 red lights.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights. Lights on, here we go.
A very decent start from the front 2. Goose Slayer and Ardell going wheel to wheel, but also Ishigo having a little bit of a look. There's already carbon fiber off into turn 1. I think someone might have had a bit of contact from the back zone, but Goose Slayer leads ahead of Ishigo, who jumped ahead of Ardell, then Stig, Ron Swanson, Hey Katra, Whiffy, and Taco. Taco's fallen from P4 all the way down to P17. He's the one with the damage. He's already got damage on the left front. But already, Ishigo tucked up on the back of Goose Slayer, going wheel to wheel, and Ishigo trying to go around the outside. Goose Slayer just squeezing him off, manages to retain position. Ardell, though, already looking interested on the Alfa Romeo, but isn't able to make the move stick, and will stay behind for the time being. But Steg is already looking interested on the Red Bull ahead of him, is going to want to make up a position in this race. For the back, though, Minchi gets ahead of Bad Bunny, I think around the outside there, but Bad Bunny's just able to come right back in and get back ahead of the Red Bull, and will stay in P9. And the Rebel is also going to have to be careful between the 2 Alpines, Kieran and GXR Rage, behind him, as Titan is also making a move on Yeet Doggo. And there's actually a lot of commotion going on in the back between Titan, Yeet Doggo, Potato, and Piastri. Titan going from P17 all the way to P13 in this race, so a very good start from the McLaren. And the front, Goose Slayer has already pulled over 2nd over Ishigo, so he is having a storm of a race already. Ishigo, though, starting to claw back, though, on the straight. I guess he has a little bit more straight line speed in relation to the Mercedes, and obviously, since it's not realistic, Alfa Romeo will be on par with the Mercedes, so it's just down to the setup. But Goose Slayer leads the first lap ahead of Ishigo and Ardell. Then it's Stig, Ron Swanson, Hey Katra, Whiffy, winner ahead of Gary. That's Bad Bunny and Mitchie rounding out the top 10. And we've got 3 people into the pits already, which is Yeet Doggo, Piastri, and El Taco Man. The 2 Aston Martins are already pitting in this race. That has not gone well for them at all.
Ooh. Ichigo just made it barely up over Radillion there.
Meanwhile, Ron Swanson has just gotten past Stig up to P4 in this race, and Catra's gotten into the slipstream of Ron Swanson. Now gets ahead of Stig as well, and Wissy dives it on the inside, but it gets spun around and is out. Has spun off and has hit the barrier, and now is the first retiree, and that is a virtual safety car. Wow.
While that was happening, Ardell got by Ichigo.
He did. You're right. Ishigo might have made a bit of a mistake there, as he's actually fallen off quite a bit on Ardell.
Just about ready to say, for 17 starting drivers here in T3, which is I think the largest we've had this season, it was so clean almost that whole first lap.
Yep, and then unfortunately Whiffy, he didn't make contact with Stig. That's the thing. So it wasn't contact between the two. It was just Whiffy getting a little bit too eager on the throttle and just looping it, hitting the barrier, and that is the first retiree of the session. And that is not what the Ferrari wanted in this race, as he has not really had the best of runs in this tier, as he's only had 1 points finish to his name. And that continues his run of no points paying positions. The first retiree. Yeah, Ferrari's not had a good time. At least this gives my voice a bit of a break before Tier 4.
Yeah, go easy on you. That was a long night.
Yeah, it's going to be a long night for me, but nonetheless, we're still getting on with it. The virtual safety car has now ended, and Goose Slayer... Actually, there's already another DNF. Piastri is just retired. Piastri might have made a mistake. Oh, that's a big one. How is that not a safety car? That's a weird one.
Yeah, coming out of the corner past the pump house.
Yeah. Not sure what's happened there, but that is unfortunately the second retiree of the session. But we'll still go on racing for now. Goose Slayer now starting to pull a bit of a gap to Ardell behind. And Ishigo trying to stay behind Ardell and the Alfa Romeo. Meanwhile, further back, though, Bad Bunny has actually spun around, I think. Yes, he has. Whether that's contact, I'm not entirely sure, but that has not helped the Williams and is now slotted down to P13. Does he have damage is the question. Doesn't look like it, so he will continue on and will have to claw back all that time he just lost. Oh, and he's actually spun around again, and he's hit the barrier. That could be rear wing damage. Not the way the Williams would have wanted this race to go, but he'll continue on. Meanwhile, Stig has gotten past Katra. I think Katra made a bit of a mistake. That allows Stig to get back past the Alfa Romeo and up into P5 in this race. And in case you haven't noticed, look who's in P7 right now. The Mercedes of Gary. Remember, he's on the medium compounded tires, so he's making those mediums sing.
Got him warmed up nice and tight. Goose Slayer jumped out 2 seconds on that lap. Something must have happened to Ardell. I don't know what it was.
Well, he sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix with a 146.2, so the Mercedes is definitely the one to beat in this race, as he's pulled quite a bit of a gap, like you said, 2.2 between the Mercedes and the Red Bull, and further 1.4 behind Ardell is Ishigo. Right now, not many people in DRS, surprisingly. I expected a little bit more of a DRS train, but I guess the pace difference between some of these drivers is pretty significant. Though Titan has just gotten past Mitchie, and Mitchie's actually spun it. He's spun round. He's lost his front wing up Radeon. And Kieran is also retired as well, up Radeon too. And that is the full course safety car. What's happened there?
It's not there looking, I don't know. Mitchie's got a wing, so there. He's still in the race, but he's got a pit.
Yeah, he's going to have to pit onto a fresh set of tires, but the question is what tires? But he has to replace his front wing nonetheless. And, well, he's going to have to claw back everything that he just made up. As, well, the Rebel, the Rebel's not entirely had the best of times in this tier, and this would be another one to add onto the list. But it's only lap 4, so it's still a long way this can go. And with a full course safety car, who's going to pit? Who's going to make the early call and go into the pits for hards or mediums is really the question.
Well, Yeet Dog goes on the hards. Let's see how far he can move up the line as everybody's above him's tires start to wear.
Yeah, those hards will easily make it to the end, as the tire wear is basically nothing on those hard compounded tire. But he's going to want to have a significant pace advantage if he's going to want to make up positions in this race as well. They are the slowest compounded tire, so he's going to want to just make the most of it. And we'll just have to watch out for him. Taco has now been brought back up into this race, let's not forget.
Ardell's in the pits, Ichigo is in the pits, Swanson in the pits, Stig's in the pits, Katra, Titan. Ooh, and Gary stays out. There's Mercedes 1-2.
Yep, Gary obviously on the medium compounded tire had to stay out, and well, that is not going to help his race. But we'll see if there's possibly another safety car as well. The two Mercedes are bunching up behind the safety car, but everyone behind them is pitting. And looking at all the tires, I'm seeing a lot of medium compounds, except for a couple. Stig on the softs. Bad Bunny, he's actually pitting onto a new set of tires. Is that going to be softs or mediums? It's another set of softs for the Williams.
Oh, okay. Mitchie went by. I saw the hard from them.
Yeah, Mitchie went on to the hards. So most people go in the direction of the medium compounded tire, but Stig, really the standout there, And so is Mitchie, but Stig really, he has the pace advantage now, being on the brand new set of soft compounded tire. And, well, considering his strategy, he's going aggressive. And I do not blame him.
I always, when people come in and get their tires, I have the worst habit of sometimes when you're in the Mercedes, you come in and pits, you don't have time to flip through your menu and you get put on whatever they have recommended for you, and it's not what you want.
Yep, since obviously Jeff is not entirely the smartest person, needless to say.
Yeah,
he has made some weird calls.
What is it,
everyone's
Jeff?
been
1,
hit with
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 through whatever the field is. Couldn't they have named him something else?
423. I don't know. But I'm just putting a random number out there at that point. But everyone now, ideally though, everyone who most likely just wants to make their Jeff shut up, they are now lining up behind this safety car. Everyone so far has pitted in this race, except for one person, and it is Goose Slayer, who was on the side. Actually, no, both Mercedes. Apologies. They have both not pitted in this race. Gary, though, a little bit more understandably, considering the fact that he's on the medium compounded tire. But Goose Slayer making the call to stay out. He's only for another safety car.
Ichigo's having a little connection problem. He's glitching.
We'll see if that plays a factor in this race. But right now, he's currently sitting provisionally P2 as Stig actually goes into the pits. So Scratch the soft strategy. He's going back into the pits and will most likely go onto the medium compounded tire. Maybe he thought that what everyone else is doing, his call, was just not the right call. And there it is, the medium compounded tires now for the AlphaTauri. And same with Mitchie, I think. Yes, it is. So both drivers abandoning their strategies and now going onto a set of medium compounded tires, and they'll have fresher tires on the drivers in front of them. We'll see how that pans out. Looking over position changes though, Goose Slayer, he started on pole, he stayed the same. Gary started P11, he now is up 9 positions. Ardell and Ishigo, down 1. Ron Swanson and Hey Katra, up 1. Then Titan in the McLaren has made up 10 positions. So he has had a lightning couple of laps in this race, and he's no doubt gonna want to go up even higher as, well, the P1 and P2, they haven't pitted yet. So ideally, this could improve him up 12 positions if he stays where he is. But he's not gonna want to stay there. I would assume that the safety car will be in this lap as everyone is now bunched up. We have lost 3 drivers in this race. Kieran Evans, Piastri, and Whiffy, but we still got 14 drivers left as well. Like you said, this may be the highest Tier 3 has ever gotten, which is kind of depressing to say, to be honest. But, we move.
Well, on the other hand, we're looking, 14 drivers still in the race and no penalties, which is a clean way.
Yeah, so far, nobody having any penalties in this race, not with just contact, but also track limits as well. I guess track limits are a little bit lenient around here. A safety car is now in this lap, so it's now Goose Slayer's discretion as to when they will go. And, well, he's going to want to catch everyone out that is behind him that have pitted, so he can possibly try and build a bit of a gap. But that might be a bit difficult for him, considering the fact that the softs, they aren't exactly pretty right now. So he's going to want to really catch him out. And when I say really, I mean it. Safety car should be coming into the pits real soon. It's a Mercedes 1-2 right now, likewise as it was back in 2020. But obviously, this is not 2020, it's 2021. And not only that, this is equal performance, not realistic, as Goose Slayer, he's gone. He has gone away and, well, across the line. Race is now resumed. He's caught out Gary a little bit, and that's ideally what he would have wanted. And Ardell is all over the back of the Mercedes already, so he's going to want to get ahead as soon as possible. That bit of a position change, though. Both Williams swapping. Bad Bunny getting ahead of Potato in this race, put themselves up into P9, back up into the further points playing positions. And Ardell, though, is also looking to move up a place. He's in the slipstream of Gary. He's using that ERS button. He's going to try and go for a move around the outside into turn 5. No, he doesn't. He stays behind for the time being and will stay behind, as he knows if he plays it a little bit too aggressive, that's not going to pay off well. Yellow flag further back, and that's Taco. He has spun round at turn 6. Doesn't look like he has damage, though, so he will continue, but it's gone from bad to worse for the Aston Martin, and will now have to try and claw all that back up. Ardell, though, he is sticking very much on the back of Mercedes and nearly going for a move there on the exit of Puon. He's not going to try and go around the outside at turn 12. Gets a little bit shoved off, though. I think the Mercedes is definitely playing it defensive in relation to where his teammate is. Ardell, though, he's still managing to stay behind, though. So Ardell, although he's playing a little bit aggressive, because of the fact that he's on the advantage of the fresher mediums, he is able to stay behind. But look at Ishigo, though. He's on the back of Ardell. He's going to want to make a move in this race, as he's basically pushing that Red Bull through those set of corners, through Blanchimont. Ardell, though, is he going to go for a move down into the bus stop? Chicane go around the outside through the first part of the bus stop. There's contact, though. Shoves Gary off, and now allows Ishigo to get ahead. And that moves Ardell back up into P2. And Ishigo back up into P3 in this race. And Gary has lost 2 positions in the span of 2 corners and might lose another one, though, because Ron is all over the back of him. Bad Bunny has just gotten past GXR Rage, now up into P8 in this race. So the Williams is starting to make moves in this race. He's back up to where he started. But he's got quite a bit of a gap. Speaking of GXR Rage, he gets a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. So that's not what the Alpine wanted. He's in the slipstream, though, of the Williams going down the straight. Yellow flag, and that is for Mitchie. He has spun round. GXR Rage, though, on the inside, and there's been a contact between the two, but GXR Rage getting back past the Williams and now back up into P8 and going to try and chase after Titan for P7. What's happened to Mitchie, though, is the question. Does he have damage?
I don't see any. He does?
Oh, no, I was wrong.
No, I don't see any.
I thought I saw some, so that's my bad.
Well, I think that battle with Ardell, Ichigo, and Gary gave Gooslayer a chance to pull out about a second and a half.
Yep, but that is slowly going down, though, because obviously Ardell is on fresh mediums and Gooslayer on old softs. Gap's starting to go down a little bit, but so far kind of staying stationary for the time being. So Gooslayer, despite being on worn softs, he still definitely has the pace in this race. Ardell's going to have to be careful, though, because Ishigo is right behind him in the Alfa Romeo. He's going to want to get back past this. This is provisionally for the race lead, considering how things are going for the time being. So he's going to want to make the move. He's going to want to do it either as soon as possible or late as possible. So far, though, for the most part, everyone keeping it calm. I like that. Bit of a DRS train as of right now from Ardell all the way down to Titan, as GXR Rage is just outside of it. Speaking of GXR Rage, he's actually been overtaken by Bad Bunny, and GXR Rage has actually spun off at Radeon. He's lost his front wing. He has stayed in this race, though, but he's just reversing as of right now. He manages to continue on, though. A lot of people really having struggles in Radeon, I've noticed.
One of those slippery days.
Which is weird because the sun is out, so that would provide more grip. But I guess that's not the case.
Yeah, but you never know what the setups are.
Track limits.
You can have the grip, but if you don't have the arrow, it doesn't do you any good.
Yeah, exactly. Katra gets past Ron Swanson, actually. So Katra has now made the move on the Ferrari, is now out to P5, going to try and chase after Gary for P4 in this race, which Gary is really falling back on those mediums. So guess him staying out is possibly not the way to go, but he'll still march on in this race, see if he can do anything in the latter stages. Currently sitting P4. He's being caught up, though. Meanwhile, another person who's also being caught up is Ron Swanson, and Titan is on the back of him too. But luckily with the DRS, Gooslayer's in the pits. So Gooslayer has made the call. The softs are officially done. and he is now pulling into the pits for a medium compound of tire for the Mercedes, but he's going to lose a lot of positions. So clearly that strategy not paying off, and now Ardell leads in the Red Bull ahead of Ishigo. And Ardell doesn't have the DRS, let's not forget, consider the fact that he's leading. So Ishigo now has the DRS on Ardell. He's in the slipstream. He's on the DRS button a little bit. Is he going to go for a move? Yes, he is. He's alongside. Is he past the Red Bull? Ardell trying to fight it back, but just doesn't have the grip to do so. And now Ishigo leads the Grand Prix. He won last week, and now is leading. Ardell trying to fight it back, though, but it's just not enough as he doesn't entirely have the grip to make a move. Meanwhile, further back, though, Stig looking for a move on Bad Bunny, trying around the outside at No Name, but just lost behind for now. So Bad Bunny clearly struggling on the soft compounded tires, and Stig is all over the back of him. Stig really showed his aggression last week. He's going to do it again, but he goes really wide at Puwan. Gets a snap as well for good measure, but he still manages to stay in this race and will stay P9. Oh, Potato, Bad Bunny actually nearly spins off, actually. He made a mistake there, and that allows Stig to now move himself up into P8 in this race, going to try and chase after Potato for P7. Not sure what's happened there, but I guess the rear end just went. That bit of a DRS train forming. Itago actually gets past Bad Bunny for P9 in this race. Bad Bunny, clearly the softs just aren't working out, and will just have to stay behind for the time being. You know, Ardell has gotten past Ishigo, so Ishigo made a mistake somewhere. And now Ishigo is back behind. Or actually, oh, there might be even a strategy going on here because they know the DRS is powerful. These two are now going wheel to wheel down to Rouge. Who's going to back out? It's going to be Ishigo. He's going to stay behind, but he's going to have the DRS on Ardell ahead of him. And he's ideally going to have the slipstream in this race. The DRS is now open. He's in the slip. So is Gary, actually. Gary's managed to claw back into this as well. And they're nearly going 3 wide down into turn 5. Who backs out, though? Gary doesn't.
And Gary goes right through both of them.
Gary gets ahead of both of them. Ishigo stays at P2. Ardell now has damage. Ardell got tapped on the right front, and he no longer has an end plate. That's going to hurt him significantly, as now Catcher's going around the outside, at least trying to, on the Red Bull. Ardell goes deep, and that now promotes Catcher up into P3. Ron Swanson up to P4. Titan now up into P5. So Ardell, with that 3 wide moment, that has cost him. Not what the Red Bull driver wanted.
Not at all. But you got to give Gary all the credit. That was a beautiful move.
Indeed, it was. It was reminiscent of, I believe, Hakkinen and Schumacher back in 2000, I believe. If I'm not entirely sure if that's true. GXO Rage is actually retired, and that's a full course safety car again. He's crashed up Radion. I tell you what, though. What's Gary going to do? He's in the pits. He's going into the pits now. But the question is what tire? We're in the halfway mark of this Grand Prix. Catcher goes into the pits as well. So does Ron. And Potato. Huh. Strategy been blown wide open. Ishigo, Titan, and Stig have stayed out in this race. Katra being the decider of who goes into the pits.
And it's going to move Goose Slayer all the way up to 4th place.
Ooh. Goose Slayer is back in this race. Started on pole. He is now back up into P4, the top 4. But the question is what are the Mercedes going to do? Because look, they're 4th and 5th. And Gary's on the soft compounded tire. And we know how fast Gary can be. Actually, that's it. Only 2 people have gone to the soft compounded tire, actually. Gary and Katra. Those 2 going aggressive. But Ron and everyone else behind, except for El Taco Man, they've gone onto the mediums. Very interesting call there.
Who went on to the hards initially? First pit stop. They must have received damage and had to pit again.
I think it might have been one of the Aston Martins because they had damage on the first lap. and they both had to pit in that. So, well, I think it might have been Piastri? I'm not 100% sure. Unfortunately, he's retired in this race, so I'm not able to see what he could have done on the hards. But we now have another safety car due to GXR Rage crashing up Radeon. And, well, 4 people electing to stay out. And this is going to blow everything wide open.
Yeah, but Gooseslayer is staying out on 1-lap tires. They're new. Brand new.
That's true. Brand new mediums on that Mercedes, but also brand new softs on the other Mercedes directly behind him. Gary, we know his pace. Gary has shown what he can do. He currently has 2 wins to his name and 2 podiums as well. He's had a couple of moments though, but he's gonna want to make this moment absolutely count. Currently sitting in P5, the highest soft runner of the 3, since Taco also went onto the soft compounded tire. And that not only brings Gooseslayer back into this, but Ardell, because remember, he had damage. So he's back in this.
Oh yeah, I'm curious to see what it's going to be like in Discord. Last week, him and Gary did not have much love for each other. We'll see what they say about that overtake.
Yeah, we shall see how that plays out in this race. Both AlphaTauris have elected to pit. So Steg has now gone onto the soft compounded tire, and Yeet Doggo most likely going to do the same. And for once, I actually see a decent double stack in this game. Not often you see that, so there you have it. The double stack does somewhat exist. What a surprise. Now going through the field now, I just want to note real quick.
No, go ahead.
Look who's P2.
Well, right now, my driver of the day is Mr. Titan. He's moved up 15 places.
He started last in this Grand Prix, and he's up to P2. He's on the podium. And this is a legit podium, because he's already pitted. Other people have pitted as well, but in reality, I guess his awareness and his racecraft, it's definitely it's definitely very good by the looks of it, because he has managed to move his way up despite all the chaos that's happened in front of him. He's up into P2 in this race from last. I am just baffled.
Right place, right time.
Exactly. Same with Ishigo as well, who's just managed to keep it easy in this race. He now leads this race behind the safety car, the Mercedes safety car for this weekend. And well, who knows what's gonna happen? Lap 13 of lap 22. There's still plenty of laps left to go, and anything could happen. 13 drivers currently, and the standout drivers to look for: Gary, Katra, Taco, Stig, and Yeet Doggo, as the safety car is now in this lap. There's now Ishigo's discretion as to when they will go. Oh boy, this is gonna get very interesting.
Yeah, Ichigo needs to slow him down through the bus stop. Really slow him down.
Yep. We'll see how Ishigo manages to get away from everyone as well. Everyone either is on a better compounded tire, or just ideally is fighting for that position on the same compound. What does Ishigo do?
He goes.
Is he going? Yes, he is. He has gone, and that's caught Titan out a bit, actually. So Titan has been caught out a little bit, but luckily it wasn't enough for Gooseslayer to have a little bit of a look into turn one, La Source. So the top 2 will stay. So will the Mercedes as of right now. But Gary got a really decent run out of La Source on the back of his teammate. What are the Mercedes going to do? Oh no! Titan gets a 3-second time penalty. That's not going to help him at all. Pushing those track limits a little bit too much, and that's going to cost the McLaren, so he's going to have to pull a 3-second gap if he wants any hopes of retaining this podium. But we shall see, though, as Ishigo still leads ahead of Titan. Then it's the 2 Mercedes, Gooseslayer ahead of Gary. Then it's Katra in P5, a little bit further behind the Mercedes of Gary, so the sauce not entirely working out. but he's managed to claw that time back as Gooslayer is actually all over the back of Titan. Look at this. So Gooslayer is already making a move on the fresher medium compound and is going to try and get after the McLaren and get ahead right as soon as possible. Meanwhile, there's a spinner further back, and that's Taco. He has spun at Puon. Luckily, though, he doesn't do it like Giovinazzi, so he'll continue on, and he spins again, so getting a snap of oversteer for good measure, and that has just gone
In the
from bad
meantime,
to
we got
worse for the
Catford
Aston
really
Martin.
putting some pressure on Gary coming out of by the
Oh,
pump
you're right,
house and
yeah.
up the back straight.
The highest of the soft compound of tire. That's the battle between the two as of right now, as Gary's just not able to get ahead of his teammate as of right now. Clearly the dirty air affecting the Mercedes, and that's helping the Alfa Romeo to get closer and closer. I mean, basically pushing him out of turn 19, the final corner. So
Gary's
Thatcher
not
really
using
wanted to get
any
him on.
ERS. He's just hanging in there with the slipstream. I think he's waiting for the DRS to turn on, and then he's going to try to get by his teammate.
Could be, but Gooslayer also has the DRS on Titan as well, as it's really a DRS train from first all the way down to sixth, as Potato has unfortunately lost out on the DRS, but it's only the second lap of the safety car restart, so right now it's all stationary, and Titan's got a really good run at Beau Rouge and Radion. He's in the slipstream, but he's just not able to make a move just yet. Is Gary, though, looking for a move on Gooslayer? No, he doesn't. He stays behind for now. Oh, Titan goes really wide, and that's on Gooslayer to now get ahead, and Gary to get ahead of the McLaren as well. So both Mercedes have gone ahead. Now Gary's going to try and go around the outside of his teammate at No Name. Isn't able to do it, though. And Catra's gotten ahead of Titan as well. Titan's now starting to struggle as he is falling back and is now just ahead of Ron. Ardell gets a 3-second time penalty, and that's not going to help his races at all, as Ron Swanson is looking for a move around the outside, but Titan just cuts him off and will stay in P5 for the time being. And, well, I remember you mentioning before that time penalties aren't really much of a factor. Might want to take that back. Everyone except for 5 people have a time penalty now, as Stig has spun off. And you dogged
out. Same place.
What's happened there? That's a full course safety car. Oh, yeah, okay, I can understand why that's a full course safety car. Basically parked on the racing line. Yikes. Oh, that's a very hefty incident. And Taco gets a drive-through penalty for speeding under safety car. And he's not able to serve that either. Consider the fact that we are under safety car. Oh, there's the confirmation. That's why Titan fell back. He had wing damage. That's why.
It must have been minor
He's
wing
now-
damage. I looked at it on the broadcast. I didn't see it, but, could have been just very minor.
Well, it's just how this game is. You might have slight wing damage and it may not show.
Well, it's
But
definitely the way the game is.
impact on performance
Hamilton showed that having
is-
no end plate can win you a race.
Yeah. Unfortunately, luckily for Formula 2, that's not the same, as they don't even have the same amount of downforce. Yeah, the only time where losing an end plate in Formula 1 has actually kind of worked, I guess you could say, Saudi Arabia, Hamilton. It's the second he got past Max Verstappen, he just pulled.
Yeah, Verstappen's tires were starting to turn into toast. I think that's another reason why Hamilton was able to pull out on him. Jeddah, what I call the high-speed mousetrap. I mean, you can't see anything. It's not
That's a
like
very
wide
interesting
open,
name
doesn't
for
have any
some
perspective.
certain parts
It's
of
just
it.
a nice fast course, but really tight.
Yep, it is. You definitely got some interesting names for either corners or just tracks in general, so wonder what else you got. I'm now invested. Let me know what you have in your arsenal.
I don't think there is any names for Jeddah corners. They happen so fast, but there's 23, 24 corners, whatever it is. There's
27.
a lot. 27, yeah. There's just too many to count.
Yeah, but most of them are flat, though, which is, like, a little strange, because they're basically like little kinks to Formula 1 cars, so maybe it should be a little bit less than that, but I don't know. I'm not the FIA, I don't decide that.
So who's going to come in and pit? or because we still got another lap of safety car.
I think everyone might stay out by the looks of it. And I just want to know, actually, due to the safety car, I was going to mention this earlier. There are 3 people in which this has helped out. Gary, Katra, and Stig. Because pitting on lap 11 for soft compounded tires, it's completely unknown if they'll make it. And, well, being behind the safety car, they're not traveling at the high speeds that they do around this track. And, well, that's helping them preserve their tires. That's going to help them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And if you watch Gary and Catcher right now, you notice they're not swerving. They're not trying to keep them warm. They're just going straight and true. Don't put any heat into them to the last second.
Holding a Kimi Räikkönen right now is basically what they're doing. See everyone else weaving, and then you just see those 2 on the main straight just not doing anything. Classic Kimi, who, well, if you guys don't already know, this is his final race this weekend here at Abu Dhabi. And, well, we're all going to wish him a very, very, well, goodbye. As, well, 20 years in the sport, the most races out of anyone in Formula 1. And 2007 world champion, 21 wins. And, well, it's been a very, very lengthy, but very well-deserved career for the Iceman. And we will very much miss him, as well as the other Alfa Romeo of Antonio Giovinazzi, who is also leaving Alfa Romeo, as he's going to a Formula E, and a replacement of him is going to be Guan Yu Zhou. So hopefully we'll see what they can do in their last race, and we'll see what both the Alfa Romeos can do in this race. Currently sitting P1 and P4. Actually, I just noticed something. This is very... Usually you would see Mercedes and Red Bull in the top 4 in real life. You got a Mercedes, but that's not a Red Bull. That's an Alfa Romeo. Very interesting thing going on there. Looking over at the chat, Bald Guy saying, too bad this game feels like you have no wing at all with barely any damage. Yeah, it's a lot more strict, I guess you could say, when it comes to damage in this game in relation to 2020. But now the safety car is in this lap.
If anybody can tell me what the name of that building is, I appreciate it. I'm still going to call it the Pump House.
I'll probably call it that from now on, knowing you're infecting me now. But we've got 5 laps of racing left now. Starting from lap 18 to lap 22. And, well, 5 laps for all these drivers to see what they can do. And Ishigo, he's going to want to catch out Gooslayer as much as he possibly can. Look at Gooslayer all over the back of Ishigo. Ishigo now goes, and Gooslayer's not been caught out by this at all. But look at Gary, though.
Gary coming on the inside.
On his teammate down into La Source. Does he get the move done? Does he have the traction in relation? Yes, he does. So now Gary is up into P2 and is now going to chase after Ishigo, and he's on the sauce. Let's not forget. So Gary has already made a move on, and he's going to want to take the lead in this Grand Prix from starting 11th. And look at him, he's already all over the back of the Alfa Romeo, going down the straight, going to try around the outside into turn 5. Very close between the two. Does Gary get the move done? Ishigo's going to try and defend it, and he does so. Very good defense from the Alfa Romeo, and manages to stay ahead of Gary for the lead of this Grand Prix. Meanwhile, further back, Ardell has gotten past Bad Bunny, is now up into P7. Bad Bunny, though, having a little bit of a look, though, at Red Bull. But Titan has actually gotten ahead of Stig, now back up into P9. That's allowed Michidos to get past Stig as well, as he made a mistake going through turn 8. And that has made the AlphaTauri lose 2 positions in this race. Not what he would have wanted. Right now, the top 4, though, very close, as Titan now makes the move on Bad Bunny, is now up into P8. So despite that damage, he's still making moves in this Grand Prix. And as of right now, despite the 3 seconds that he has, everyone around him has 3 seconds. So he is P8. But we'll see
Gary's on the ERS.
Yes, he is. He's all over the back of the Mercedes. Look at Katra, though. She's all over the back of the other Mercedes of Gooslayer. Going to try and go around the outside into the bus stop chicane. Has the inside now contact between him and
Oh,
the two
Gary
Mercedes.
swings it wide.
Gary has had a
Gooselayer
moment.
gets by. So does Catra.
Gary's had a moment at the exit of the bus stop chicane. That's lost him 2 positions in the span of just a couple of corners. And will now sit in P4. Now Ron Swanson having a bit of a look on the Mercedes as well. That's not what Gary would have wanted. That's allowed Catra to move up into the podium spots. And Ishiko looking a little bit squirrely there. I just saw he's staying ahead of Gooselayer for the time being. But Gooselayer, look at him. He's on the back of the Alfa Romeo. He's now going to pull out to the left-hand side of the two. Ishiko managed to defend this before. Can he defend it again? Late braking for the Alfa Romeo, and he gets it done. But Gooselayer gets the switch back on him. He's trying to go around the outside. But Ishiko, once again, just able to defend it. He's positioning his car exactly how he wants it. And Gooselayer now trying to go around the outside into turn 8. But that might compromise him because Catra's now having a little bit of a look as well. So the top 3 really playing havoc in the last couple of laps in this race. And right now, it's a double Alfa Romeo podium. Ishiko ahead of Gooselayer, ahead of Catra. Then is Gary ahead of Ron. Ardell is making moves in this Grand Prix. Now up into P6, going to try and chase after the Ferrari. His championship rival, let's not forget. And
Ardell's gone around.
And gets caught back. It's actually caught Potato as well. Oh, and that's a track reset for Potato. That's not what you want to do in this, in that. And well, I just don't like seeing that. Period. But that's not what Ardell wanted.
Once again, all tightened up. Ichiko, Slayer, and Catra just all over each other.
Look at that, Catra managing to stay around the outside. This contact between the two. Ardell has gone off. Gooselayer goes a bit deep, though, into the bus stop chicane in order to defend from the Alfa Romeo, and does so. So Gooselayer is just able to defend from the Alfa Romeo and will stay P2 for the time being. My compromises line, though, is now Catra's diving on the inside into La Source. And is she able to make the move? Not quite. DRS has now been enabled. And as of right now, everyone from first down to 6th has DRS for the time being. We'll see if anyone's able to capitalize on that as Ishiko. 8/10 between him and Gooselayer. Gooselayer, though, is he going to use that battery? But Catra's heavily using that battery. She almost has no ERS in relation to the Mercedes. Going to try and go around the outside. Is she able to make the move? Not quite. There was a little bit of contact between the two, but so far that they're staying stationary as Titan, Potato, and Ardell are into the pits, and Gooselayer gets a 3-second. Gooselayer has just compromised his race, going a little bit too wide, and that's not going to help him at all. And Gary's actually gone off. Gary has made a mistake, and that's allowed Ron to go up into P4, and Mitchie up into P5. Holy!
Crazy
all
good
these
racing.
drivers really going at it.
Catra's pulled it within a 10th, into the corner. No, backs off. Let's
just trying to find every which way for to make a move on Gooselayer, but Gooselayer just managing to defend it, and Catra always just having to back off in relation to it, but is all over the back of the Mercedes still, and is in the slipstream, well, I would say DRS, but there's no DRS around here. Catra, once again, just looking for a move on the Mercedes, but it's just nothing doing. Is she possibly going to go and make a late braking move into the bus stop chicane? Definitely thinks about it. Gooselayer, though, a little bit later on the brakes and is able to just hold position. Catra not entirely getting the best of exits in relation to the Mercedes. Has a DRS, though, ahead on the Mercedes. Isn't able to make a move just yet as Stig has now gotten past Gary, as Gary actually goes into the pits. So I think Gary might have had front wing damage. Yes, he does.
Catra really doesn't have much of a chance here unless she can take Titan in the slipstream because she's almost out of ERS.
What she needs is for her teammate Ishiko to get out of the DRS, and right now that's not happening as Gooselayer's all over the back of Ishiko and possibly going for a move into turn 5. The DRS is blinking.
Whoa,
there's contact between the two. Ishiko spun, and Gooselayer spun as well. The two leaders have spun. Catra now leads the Grand Prix. Ron Swanson is up into P2, and Mitchie is up into P3. The top 3 is completely changed, and your championship P2 of Ron, as of right now, concerned about that Ardell scoring no points, he's going to take the championship lead. All he needs to do is just keep it within track limits, and he's got it. Wow.
They're definitely putting a little excitement into our T3.
Oh, yeah. Gooslayer now gets ahead of Stig and now up into P6, trying to claw back all that time he's just lost. And Ishigo, that's really unfortunate for the Alfa Romeo, was leading the race for so long, but just isn't able to get it. But one thing's for sure, though, actually, remember, Michi has a 3-second time penalty. Right now, the gap is 2.7. Ishigo still, theoretically, could get a podium. But Michi, he's on 4-lap-old softs, so those softs are still fresh. Yellow flag further back. Is that for Titan? Yes, it is. He's gone off. He's got no wing. And there's another yellow flag as Ardell spun off again.
Last lap.
Last lap, yeah. Katra leads the last lap. But the question is Ron going to be able to get ahead?
Swanson's
look at Ron's ERS in relation to Katra.
He's
Ron
using
has
his
the better
ERS.
ERS.
He's got the slipstream.
Yes, he does. Is he possibly going to go for a move? He's looking for it, but Katra is just
Shuts
able
the door.
to defend it. Katra able to defend it on the soft compound of tire, and that is definitely helping Katra as Titan now retires from the session into the pits. So Titan is the last retiree as it stands. And your podium right now, Michi is pulling away from Ishigo. So as of right now, your podium is Katra, Ron, and Michi. But we'll see how that pans out as Ishigo's actually starting to claw back time. P3 is still very much in contention. But going back to the championship leader, not championship leader. The race leader. Katra joined in Monaco. Got a podium there. Got P2 in the following race. DNF to Canada. Their first win this season came at France. Well, she doesn't have to wait long for her second win. And unlike last time, this one is going to be on track as Katra is going to come across the line to win the Belgian Grand Prix. Ron Swanson comes into P2. Michi gets his first ever podium in Tier 3. Ishigo comes home to P4 ahead of Gooslayer. El Taco finishes in P6 after running in last for so long. Stig finishes in P7 ahead of Bad Bunny, who on his debut scores 4 points. Gary, unfortunately, has to settle for P9, but gets the fastest lap, so that's an extra point. Potato rounds off the top 10.
Michi is
And
my
Ardell.
driver of the day. Picked up 12 spots.
Wow. Ardell crosses the line and is unfortunately the only one to finish to not score any points.
As always, Lacombe seems to be the decider.
Yeah. There it is. Like you said Michi was your driver of the day, and it's confirmation from the game.
Yeah.
So there you go. There you have it, though. Katra getting her second win of the season. And what other place to do it than at Spa-Francorchamps? Ron Swanson, as of right now, is your championship leader. Finishing P2, getting 18 points. And now leads ahead of Ardell by 16. And Michi, well, actually, no, wait, that's Michi's third podium. Apologies. I thought that was his first. So that is his third podium of the season. And that is exactly what he would have wanted. The past 3 races have not been good for him, as he had 2 DNFs and a DNS. Well, what a way to bounce right back. Ishigo, who led the race for so long, finishes in P4 ahead of Gooslayer. Taco finishes in P6 ahead of Stig. Bad Bunny in P8 ahead of Gary, who got the fastest lap. Potato in P10. So I shall now invite the drivers for interviews. Also, I just want to note real quick. Look how many stops Michi made. He's made 5 pit stops. Wow.
Hey, when you hit 3 safety cars, was it 4 safety cars? No, 3 safety cars.
P3.
Fantastic
wait
race.
For all the drivers. It was a hectic one, but it was definitely full of action nonetheless, as we now wait for the drivers to join us for interviews.
Yeah, Nico, I love the fact that we had a great turnout and a great race. Good on T3.
And ideally, a lot of drivers this race. Also, we were mistaken the entire time. The most that... Oh my goodness. Or actually, no. Never mind, okay. I was looking at something a little weird, but nonetheless. Just waiting on our race winner to join us up in the booth. Being a little bit patient, I think she might not. Oh, okay. Hang on a minute. It's okay. I'm solving the issue.
Great drive, Ron.
All right, with that, everyone is now in, and we shall now get on to interviews, and we shall start with who finished P3 in this race. And, well, what a turnaround it was for you, Ron. Not Ron, sorry, Mitchie. Quick Dunk, do you want to take this away?
Sure. Great comeback, Mitchie. Just relied on everybody into Lacombs to do their thing, which moved you right up the order. Great driving.
Yeah. There's really not much to it, really. Just watch them all kill each other and manage to get a P3. I'm not even gonna say anything about pace or anything because I legit had none. So I just got lucky. That's really it. That's all you need to know.
I just want to note real quick, I saw you made 5 pit stops, and you still managed to get a podium.
Yeah, that's the strategy. 5 pit stops. You heard it here first.
Yeah, next time I do it, I'm going to do 5 pit
Most
stops and get
to
driver of the day. You can't beat that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm not giving you much, but there's nothing much I need to say.
I mean, there isn't really anything to say. I mean,
Nope.
Things just happened, needless to say.
That's right. I legit, when I was in the top 5, I was like, oh, alright, this will be good. This will actually be a great result. And then whatever happened up ahead happened. I was like, alright, I'm P3.
It was Ishigo and Gooslayer that collided at turn 5 at Lacombe. So, yeah, it was definitely
All
a
I'll
very
say is-
interesting moment.
All I'll say is I don't know which AlphaTauri was. I'll post it in the Discord or on Twitter. I forget which AlphaTauri was. Absolutely died in front of me. So, yeah, it was great having a wheel almost flown into my face. That was great.
Well, despite everything that really happened to you, I mean, you still managed to get a podium. I mean,
Yeah.
what else is there to say?
Yeah,
Yeah.
me carrying Red Bull as per usual. So, yeah.
No comment. Well, nonetheless, well done to you after some disappointing Grand Prix. You still managed to come back and get yourself your 3rd podium in the season. So well done to you, and also to driver of the day. And we now shall move on to who finished P2 in this race, and it was Ron Swanson. So, Ron, you had a bit of a quiet race. You made up a couple positions, and you were just staying behind Katra. But then, obviously, with everything that happened in front, you managed to really gain a lot on that, and you managed to get P2 in this race. You had a look for P1 on Katra into Lacombe, but she was just able to defend it. But still, P2, and you've taken back the lead of the Drivers' Championship. How do you feel?
I feel better than last weekend. That was there was a lot of comedians up front right over there having like a clown fest. It was stupid. There were 3 whole moments where I'm like nearly a whole second back and I catch up in one corner, and then there was a coming out of the final turn. I think it was Goose Slayer stacked up Katra, his teammate, and then I hit him, and that caused an entire fucking chain reaction. Oh no. Oh no, I broke a rule. Apologies. But that wasn't smart from what was going on up front with him, and then I don't know what happened with him in DXD. But second was cool. I tried to win, and I want to thank the GOAT Mitchie for being behind me, not anyone else, because when they spun out and I break because of Katra, I feel like if it was anyone else, they probably would have slammed into the back of me. But it was nice. I tried for a look, but I was only gonna try for the 2 corners off the straights, and he didn't have any DRS from what I got from him because we were in the same party. So it was as close. Sorry, ERS. But it was close, fun. Second, I thought I was gonna get 5th. That was my pace. Yay.
Yeah. Great drive. It was solid, as you always are. That's one of the things that you quietly work your way up to the front, and you're leading the season because of it. It was a great drive.
Yeah. Worst finish, 5th place. Worst finish that I didn't finish, 3 DNFs. Sucks. I got murdered.
Your worst finish actually finishing P5. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I will. If it's every other time. This is actually something I could bring up. I love bringing this up now. My first race I DNF'd. The next 3 races were podiums. I got to finish outside of the podium position, which was 5th at the time, and then I died the next race. Then I got another 3 podiums, I finished outside the points, and then I died the next out of the podium, and then I died the next race. So right now we're keeping that up. I got the first of 2 more podiums, and I get a points finish outside, then I get to die again.
So we're looking forward to a great
forward
race
to
in
that.
Netherlands.
Maybe. I like the track. Do you know how many times I almost won that track? That was my best track in Tier 5, Tier 4. Tier 5 I fudged up and I got a 3-second and lost it. And Tier 4 with 3 to go, I killed myself in front of like broken rectile. So hopefully I don't do that again.
Don't. Well, good luck next week.
We shall see.
He's not here to be
race
my
today.
cushion.
Well, I mean, hopefully that doesn't happen and you, I would say, get redemption, needless to say. But, nevertheless, a podium at Spa-Francorchamps, well done to you, and taking back the championship lead ahead of Ardell. And now we shall move on to the winner of the Belgian Grand Prix, Katra. So, this is your first win. I know for a fact, this is your first win. That was on merit, on track. You finished first. You crossed the line first. And what a way to do it. Pitting on the softs on lap 11. That safety car before, obviously, that did help you in being able to make those softs last to the end. But your aggression, but also positioning, has managed to win you the Grand Prix. How do you feel?
To put it I guess simply, ecstatic. You know, it's incredible. I mean, obviously, I've not had the best of luck, especially at Spa. A couple seasons ago, whenever I first made my debut in BRL, I had kind of turned it around at Spa, and well, that kind of didn't happen in Tier 1. Mitchie knows the story of that. But so I was, you know, not expecting much out of this race, especially with the qualifying. I was beating myself out of it, and well, P7 was. Honestly, you could probably ask Ron if you really want to. I was, let's say, Daniel Ricciardo. You know that gif of him screaming into the pit lane, a naughty, naughty word? Yeah, I did that multiple times during that lap. So, but regardless, it was a long uphill battle, and it was very difficult indeed, because the drivers were quick, and it was really fun to race wheel to wheel. You know, Gary, Ron, DXD, Goose, definitely, and Gary. I started Gary, but for a moment, it was an Alfa Romeo and Mercedes 1, 2, 3, 4, and I like to point it out. What is this, 1950?
That's true, actually, thinking about it.
Yeah, it was great to see, and it was a great battle between us 4, and well, as you said, finally got the one on track, and let's pray I keep it, because you know, knowing this will be the I went on track, and now you got a stewards infernally, and that gets you off the podium or something. But great
I don't
race.
think he did anything like I don't think he did anything report worthy, so I
Let's hope
think
so.
it'll stand.
Let's hope so. And it was
The only thing in
obviously
your report
unfortunate.
that I would say is that you qualified, and that's great.
That's true.
Oh.
I would like to report my
It's a decent
qualifying to the
qualifying
stewards.
position too. I mean, like, what was it, P6?
It was, yeah, P7, but regardless, it was unfortunate and really, I guess, nerve-wracking to see my teammate spin out on the podium, especially from the lead of the race. Him and Goose had that contact, and, well, let's just say I may or may not either need a new pants or a new chair. I don't know which one is broken first, but regardless, it was really unfortunate to see them like that, and obviously really good for Ron to see him up there, and sorry for the win.
I can definitely tell that you're ecstatic about it right
Yeah.
now. Well, I mean, either way, congratulations on your first win on merit and your third win overall in BRL and your second this season. And, well, all of your finishes I've noted, and all of you, like all the races you finished, top 4. I mean, that consistency.
Yeah, it's something I definitely pride myself on, but, you know, you can't be consistent forever. Sometimes you have to show a little bit of pace. Today we showed a little bit of that, but we need to do more of that next week in Holland. Ron's going to be someone to beat.
Yep, we shall see in a week's time. But for Tier 3, that is going to be everything. But be sure to tune in around just over 30 minutes time for Tier 4, where they shall also race around Spa-Francorchamps, which shall be hosted by myself again. So you get to hear me again. Have fun. And then tomorrow, we'll have Tier 2 and Tier 1 race it out at Belgium. But if you're not a fan of Formula 1, we've also got ACC on Sunday and Monday, racing for Round 2 around Zolder. We'll see how everyone is able to manage that. And then back again next week on Wednesday, we will have Formula 2 racing around Netherlands. And then Realistic on Thursday. But from Quick Tongue and I, that is going to be everything. So good day, or good night, and see you in 30 minutes time.